And I instantly fell in love with Ghana. I saw a lot of activities going on. At that time, Jerry Rawlings was the president. President Jerry Rawlings was in power. And I was generally impressed about Ghana. And I promised that one day I will return to Ghana. So I left Ghana on the 28th on British Airways and headed to London. I thought maybe I would spend a few months and then I'll be able to go back to Nigeria. But General Sani Abacha was going from bad to worse, and I couldn't go back. So I had to apply for asylum from Great Britain, and which I was granted because I had a genuine reason to run away from Nigeria. So for 3 years, I couldn't enter my country. It was while in London that a cousin of mine asked, so what are you going to be doing for a living? Are you going to be washing plates, or are you going to be washing dead bodies? Are you going to be a security guard, or what exactly?
And here is a man with master degree.
A man with master degree, a man who was doing very well in Nigeria. And so he said, but you are a damn good journalist back home. Why don't you consider doing a publication? And that was how the idea of Ovation came out while I was in exile. You see, God has a way of doing his thing. If I was in Nigeria, I'm very sure there would be no Ovation today. At that time, I was at the lowest ebb. If you are looking at the lowest ebb of my life, that was it. But God had his plans. And again, it's good to be a good listener. If I looked at my cousin as a smaller person, I say, you're a young man, what you can't advise me. But I listened to him. When he mentioned that thing, it struck a chord in me. And I made up my mind that, okay, I'll go to the drawing board. And within 6 months, I was able to register Ovation International. I was able to get a very good office apartment in Docklands, which was very close to water, very serene environment. I've always been a big dreamer. And I'll tell you another thing. There was a friend of mine who was supposed to be my partner. This friend of mine had a company that was already registered. So we agreed to use his company. He was even going to be my senior. He would be the managing director while I would be an executive director. A day before we started the business, he pulled out. And what was his reason? He said, oh, Dele, you are too flamboyant. Your ideas are just too fantastic. Last night I couldn't sleep and I told my wife that now we have less than 20,000 pounds. We did our business plan. We needed 150,000. We didn't have up to 20,000. You will not believe it. And yet I said we should take a risk. And out of that 20,000, we were going to risk 14,000 pounds on getting an office. I love beauty around me. That's one of my secrets. I love beautiful things. And my friend said, how can you spend 14,000 on getting an office? But then my theory was simple. A man who is down should fear no fall. We were already down. We didn't have money. So the little we have, we must invest it wisely on something that people can see. You see, impression is key in business. People don't understand it. Impression or perception is very key in business. So my idea was that if we have a good ambience, I'm in your studio now, this is very beautiful, I'm very relaxed. But if I'm just sitting and crouching on, a chair that is not comfortable, then I cannot speak the way I'm speaking. So it's the same thing with the start of Ovation. I wanted an environment where we could attract the best. You are going to do a celebrity magazine, then you must create an environment for celebrities.
But where did you get the vision from? Because in Nigeria there wasn't anyone like that.
No, you see, I've been trained by the best. As a young man, at the age of 23, I was already a private secretary to a deputy governor. At the age of 26, I was already working for one of the biggest kings in Africa, the Oni of Ife. At the age of 28, I was already working for the man who was seen as the most generous man in Africa, Chief Moshood Abiola. So I've been able to study their taste. And I was able to acquire some of their taste. Of course, money says if it is not at home, make no plans in its absence. But in my own case, the little I had, I knew I had to manage it well and use it to maximum effect. A lot of people have money. And when you see them, they look hungry. They look poor. Nobody's going to respect you if you look hungry. Nobody's going to respect you. You call me a chief and then I come in here in tatters. You'll be wondering what manner of chief is this one. So you can see my cap, you can see everything. It's all part of the package. You can see OV written on it. It's part of the branding. So if I can put a Ralph Lauren on my shirt, so why can't I put my own name on my own shirt? So these were the kind of ideas that I had. And I can tell you those ideas will blossom with time. My friend pulled out till today. He tells me, he said he has never seen a man who is a gambler like me, because it takes a gambler to go into good business. It's pure gambling, because you never know whether you will make it or you will fail. Yeah. But I gambled, and I continue to gamble in business. I take risks. When people are afraid, I'm ready to go there, and I will do it. If I fail, I will withdraw, and I will try again. It's very important.
Well, situation at times can lead one to his destination. Someone who had wanted to be a teacher, now teaching life all over the world. A man who is down, fear no fall. So you don't need to fear that you're going to fall because you are already down. Take that risk. It will help you. Now, in the process, you had some relationship with Babangida. Babangida was actually the man that led you into the real struggle. No to his decision for annulling June 12, 1993 election. But forgiveness is also part of life. What is your relationship with him at the moment?
I would say I have forgiven him, though I continue to insist that he must come out publicly to apologize to Nigerians for what happened, because that has led us into all the problems that we have today. I'm close to one of his children, Aisha. We do chat once in a while, but I don't have a relationship of maybe going to their home, sitting down with them. No. But if I see them, I'll greet them, I'll give them their due respect. But I still believe that he needs to apologize to Nigerians. Nigerians, we're very forgiving people. We have the most religious people probably on earth, whether as Muslims or as Christians. And I'm sure once he says sorry, then we can move on. You see, reconciliation, like you said, is part of life. We must reconcile ourselves. If we've made mistakes, let's learn from our mistakes, and then the country can move forward.
Now let's look at the profession you found yourself eventually, having left the teaching profession into media. Would you say this is one of the best professions in the world?
Oh, certainly. It's one of the best professions in the world, but it's also the poorest. Journalists are the poorest profession. Some of my students are bank directors today. They own houses in the choice places all over the world. We can't afford that unless you are doing deals, and I don't know how to do deals. I don't do government contracts. I don't do anything other than what I'm doing at the moment, because I love to restrict myself to my area of core competence. You see, the moment you start going from business to business, somewhere along the line you will derail. But I restrict myself. If I'm going to do another business, then I must get people who are competent in that area to handle the business for me. I'm doing a restaurant in Ghana, so I must find people who have the energy to wake up early in the morning, go to the market, get the meat, get the stuffs, and do it properly. I'm not going to do it myself. So all I do is Ovation magazine, personally. But any other business I do, it just means I'm investing in it while others will have to run it.
Now let's look at so many people that look up to you as their role model. I know several of them, including my humble self, that, Bob D, that is the name we... For some of you who don't know, that is the slang we call. Now that's the name, his nickname to most of the media practitioners. Now, what are you imparting to them? I know the Shayaka India of this world, the mayor of this world, the KSM of this world, several other, media personalities that are looking up to you. What is your relationship with most of them?
I'm friends with everybody. I'm friends with everybody, whether young, old, or older than me. For me, what I would say I've been able to do is to show that hard work can pay. That's number one. Number two is that people used to think that unless you run people down as a media practitioner, that you cannot do well. But I've been able to show that positive stories can sell. Before Ovation, people thought only negative stories would sell. We don't abuse people in Ovation. We make people look good. If I come into your house, I walk into your kitchen, I will in fact help you clean up the environment to make sure that everything is good. We're doing a photo shoot next week with Karen of Big Brother, the girl who just won the Big Brother Amplified in South Africa. And I called her, and we're going to take our time, get the best fashion designers, get people who are doing shoes, people who are doing accessories for women, makeup artists, hairstylists. That is Ovation. We make people look good. You see, but there are people who think that, oh, in the media you must write gossip. I don't do gossip. And I can say that now a lot of people are copying that. There are so many magazines now looking like Ovation. If you look even in Ghana, you have Ago, which is being published, by a Ghanaian. And that, to me, is very important. People everywhere you go, in Kenya, in South Africa, you see people now who try to do things like Ovation. And then the quality. We have been able to maintain that quality. In Africa, people will do something for a while, and then the quality will drop. In our own case, it's going up. I've been with the same printers in England for the past 12 years. Printing in the same place. Month in, month out. So it's very important to be consistent in whatever you do.
Be consistent in whatever you do. Ovation makes people look good. They don't write about gossip. And of course, some of you who have seen copies of Ovation, you will attest to this, that this is what Ovation is all about. Before we go for this break, let's look at your life in the prison. How were you looking then at the prison? I wonder how you look.
Well, I would say prison is not a 5-star hotel. You are staying in a place where you had no bed. You had a mattress, very flat, because too many people had slept on it. They had deposited their sweats on it. So it's such a squallish, existence. Very, very squalid. In the early morning, the officers will come, wake you up at 5. No big man in prison. You must wake up now. Go and fetch your water. And then you go into the bathroom. We used to call the bathroom the World Bank, where everybody goes there and you just deposit your. Everybody is having their shower in public. You can't hide, And then you are locked behind bars all the time. But I was fortunate. We had a president in the cell who was himself a bank MD. And the man, so as president, he is privileged to stay outside the gates of the prison, just outside. They will tie his wrapper, and then the police will smuggle out some bottles of water to go and buy us beer. And they pour the beer in the bottle and bring to us. That was our valium. We would drink it, and then you go and sleep. Too many mosquitoes. It was as if there was a special breed of mosquitoes. You can't sleep much. So it was hell on earth. But I'm always ready to suffer for my beliefs.
Well, how many people believe that Chief Dele Momodu had been to prison, or that he started very poorly? Well, we'll be going for this short break, and when we return, I'll still continue with my guest.
You're watching Trailblazer Africa on Crystal TV. My name is Dr. Erica Bennett, head of mission for the AU Diaspora Africa Forum, Owopade.
My name is Empress Levi. Please continue watching Trailblazer Africa on Crystal TV, only the best.
My name is Jeanette Ndlovu. I'm the South African High Commissioner in Ghana, and you are watching Trailblazers on Crystal Television.
Your innovation needs the right medium to get to the right audience. Have you heard? A promotional news program that sells ideas, organizations, services, people, places and projects to the public with authority and in authenticity is the program to fix such ideas. Have you heard? Brings out the facts that the public wants to get in a unique and unbeatable style that keeps the audience glued to their TV set for bumper analysis on your product, service or activity. If you haven't told your story on Have You Heard, then the story hasn't been told. Let the public hear you loud and clear on Have You Heard. To feature on Have You Heard, contact the marketing department of Crystal TV on 0244 850 773 or 020 733 1444. Have You Heard? Taking your ideas to your target.
Welcome back. The program is still Trailblazers Africa, and my guest today is the publisher of Ovation magazine, the magazine that has traveled around the whole world. Even it has traveled beyond the publisher himself, Bashorun Dele Momodu. Yes, I'm glad to still have you on the program.
Much.
Now, Ovation in so many countries. Like, how many countries would you say Ovation had been to?
Well, in terms of our operations, we've covered events, stories in over 60 countries on all the continents of the world. But it is impossible for me to know everywhere Ovation has been to. We receive mails from everywhere, from Tokyo to Bangkok. In fact, one of the most moving letters I ever received came from a Nigerian who was in prison in Bangkok. He was arrested, maybe for drug, and jailed. And he wrote to me that, thank you so much. Through Ovation, I'm able to see what is going on back home. Ovation keeps me company. I get letters from fashion designers everywhere who now use Ovation as fashion catalog. Ovation has been able to bring about a kind of unity between Africans. Now it's possible for a Nigerian. In fact, every Nigerian today knows a lady called Baba Banda, Alhaji Asuma Banda's wife, very beautiful woman. She couldn't have a child for 12 years. And then later she had a set of twins, and we featured her and her husband on the cover. Alhaji Banda is my godfather. And people back home are able to relate to such stories. And the same way Ghanaians now know about a Desi Danjuma in Nigeria. They now know about our biggest celebrities. We've been able to do a lot in Kumasi through His Royal Majesty, the Otunfo. And, you know, we're cementing relationships. We've been able to attract businesses. When I first came to Ghana, there were not too many Nigerian businesses. There was not even a single Nigerian bank. But we were doing profiles of Nigerians. People thought Nigerians were 419. They were drug bearers. People didn't know that there were Nigerians who were doing big business, you know. And today, in Ghana, you have billions and billions of dollars worth of investment from Nigerians in Ghana. The same thing, if you go to Nigeria, you find Ghanaians who are doing business in telecoms, in the oil and gas industry, and things like that. So I'm very pleased. That
so you've been able to bring a very smooth marriage of so many countries together. Now, yes, and with that, you people say you are a friend to so many African presidents, so many world presidents. Would you be able to really say, well, this one is my friend, this one is my friend, or you can't count again?
No, I wouldn't say they are my friends like that. I would say I've been able to interact with them. I'm a very humble person. A president is too big to be the friend of a commoner like me, you know. But what I know is that everywhere I go, I was telling a story just before we came into this interview that in 2009 I went to South Africa, and our president today, President Goodluck Jonathan, was also in South Africa. He was the vice president then, and he was received by the president of South Africa, Jacob Zuma, in his office in Pretoria in the afternoon. That same day, I was received by President Jacob Zuma at home in the evening. So I always tell people, I mean, when I went to politics, people thought, oh, it's because he just wants to be president. No, I don't have to be a president to know presidents. I go into people's homes, I get received. When President Kufuor was in power, I mean, we live on the same street till today. I used to go to the house to interview him, to talk to him. I used to call his wife, Mother Teresa. She was like a mom to all of us, and we were well received. Prof at the meals.